Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Monday, post-holiday Monday. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday and that you were surrounded by love and laughter, but most importantly, peace. Hi there, Cheree. How are you? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, Tawana. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well today.
Today is a good day.
Yeah.
It got past me. I didn't realize it was already almost 6 o'clock. I was like, oh my.
Yeah, that's how it's working these days. So
yeah.
I looked up, it was 5:05, and next thing I know, it's now. So I'm just trying to get us up on our social media. I think we are up. So I wanted to see if we were up on Twitter. On the Twitter. And then we have some things to talk about. It's going to be a chit chat time. We didn't book a guest for today just because the day after Thanksgiving or coming back, I just felt like it would be better for us to just have a chit chat opportunity with everybody.
Chit and chat.
Chit and chat. Yes. So hello, everybody. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. We've got Kimberly from St. Louis. We've got New York in the house, Sharnetta. We've got Georgia. We've got Mary in the house. All of my people on YouTube, please don't forget to thumbs up the video so that the algorithms can bless us. Hello to everybody in Facebook. I'm still not able to live stream to Twitter anymore. I'm going to blame Elon Musk because everybody is blaming Elon for everything anyway. So we're going to blame him too. So we've got Talisha in here from Georgia. We've got Miss Vivian in here from North Carolina. Got Calvin in DC, Tawana in DC. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. So let's just kind of chit chat. There's a lot going on with regards to the economy, as people know. I've been, obviously, I always do a lot of research and reading with regards to that. And I felt like some of the things that's happening now in the economy and things like that is a good lead into the 10K project and why both Tawana and I think that it's going to be needed now more than ever. We are hearing that either we are currently in a recession or going to practically 100% going to be in a recession, depending on what expert you're listening to. All of the stories I'm reading is basically averaging out to the end of next year, where it's going to be in that recessionary period. Many of you have seen a lot of tech layoffs. However, there's 10 million open jobs in the United States. And small businesses are saying they're having a hard time finding people, even though the Fed has slowed down on their increasing of the interest rate. They may still continue to increase the interest rate. I'm also reading about the fact that the housing is expected to dip in certain areas as much as 30%. So if you're a buyer, it could be good for you, even with the increased interest rates. If you are a homeowner, the best thing to do is try to hold on to your property. But I also read a very disturbing article today. I wish I had pulled it up. It was in, I think, Black Enterprise that said that like 40% of Black people who are selling their homes are selling them to all cash buyers, which to me means that we're selling them to investors and we're not really negotiating very well. So I'm very concerned that Black people are going to be behind the 8 ball with regards to our property ownership. And then the final thing, and I'm glad Talisha's here.
That's a whole lot of things you got.
A whole lot of things.
List you got.
This is a lot.
I
happening.
see.
The final thing is, if you don't know, BlockFi has officially filed for bankruptcy.
Yep.
If you don't know what BlockFi is, that is a crypto exchange. A lot of influencers were promoting BlockFi very, very heavy. I remember when they were doing that. And this is the second one, obviously, with the fallout of FTX. That was like a whole, another level of scam. BlockFi is just, from my reading, just filing bankruptcy, but there's a lot happening in the crypto space. But of all those things, I just see a lot of opportunity for us. And, with that, we kind of want to lay some of the things out with regard to, the things that we have within the 10K project that you can plug into, and, talk about some of the things that you may be thinking about and questions you may have with regards to 2023 and how you can level up. So with that, Tawana, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so let's unpack some of the stuff you said. You said a lot, so let's unpack some of it. Let's go backwards, because I'm old and I can't remember the first thing you said, but I can remember the last thing you said. So BlockFi, for anyone out there that invest in cryptocurrency, the one rule, I think it was like the first rule I learned was not your keys, not your crypto, right? Mm-hmm. So keeping your cryptocurrencies on an exchange is never a good idea, because they can go out of business. However, you could have your crypto in a more secure place, like a hard wallet or cold wallet. I mean, there's all kinds of places where you are the owner of the keys. And if you're in cryptocurrency, you know what that means. And so I would just say to everyone out there that owns crypto currently, if you don't already have your assets in some type of wallet that you are the owner of, then you need to consider doing so. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, right? This is for educational purposes only. But I can tell you that phrase was one of the first 5 phrases I heard when I got involved in 2017. Not your keys, not your crypto. And so you definitely want to act. There are some exchanges that are a little more reputable, but even they could go under. I mean, businesses, the fact that it is cryptocurrency, the media is going to lead you to believe a whole lot of different narratives about that, right? I'm not going to get into that. Any business can go bankrupt, right? Anything. And so the exchanges are no different. And so from that standpoint, we should not have our assets there. We should have them safely in a wallet where we own the keys. Second thing Cheree talked about, or the second to the last thing Cheree talked about.
Before you go,
mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to get your keys on, if you don't know how to set up a cold wallet or, move your crypto from an exchange, there are 2 people you can go to. The first is Naja Roberts. And I believe she's in the expert directory. If not, then Talisha, if you have Naja's information, her website or anything like that, if you could put that in the chat for us. And I know there's a second person as well. I want to say it's Nadia. I know we have another Natasha Riviere. Natasha Riviere. And she's supposed to be in the expert directory as well. Actually, I know she was in the expert directory for cryptocurrency. So here's the issue with your keys, is that you have a public key and a private key. Your private key, if somebody has both your public key and your private key, they could wipe you out. So you want to be extra cautious with, if you don't know how to do these things, how to get your private key and move your coins. A reputable person will never ask you for your private key. They'll just say, do you see your private key? Okay, type it in. So, but I think both of us, Tawana and I, feel pretty comfortable with either Naja or Nadia being able to assist you, because they
Yeah,
should not ask for your private key.
absolutely. And Naja actually has, she's got some training modules, I believe, out there. She's got, she's starting a crypto bank. And so she's an amazing resource. We've had her here several times. You guys can even go back and look at some of those replays if you're in the Knowledge Center, if you're already a member, and type in her name, and her sessions will come up. I feel like she's been here 2 or 3 times over the years. And so an amazing organization that she has, Crypto Blockchain Plug. She actually does a kids camp. So just she's an amazing organization for so many reasons outside of just the education in this category. But definitely do something other than having your assets on an exchange. I don't want to get into the politics of cryptocurrency. I just want you to have your assets safe if you have them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would get into the politics, but we don't have enough time. So
Cheree will get into the politics of any and everything, okay?
I certainly will. But I will say that pay attention to crypto. And one of the things I'm looking at is there were a whole bunch, and this is not an endorsement of crypto. This is not telling you to buy or sell or anything. This is just what Cheree is looking at. About 3 years ago, there were a lot of companies that purchased a lot of Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheets. I'm looking to see if they are holding it, if they're buying more, or if they're selling. And that's, in my opinion, going to tell me a lot of where cryptocurrency and at least Bitcoin is headed. If these large banks that had a whole bunch of Bitcoin, these big companies that had a whole bunch of Bitcoin, if they're still holding on to their Bitcoin, and I want to see it on their balance sheets, not just some press release.
Right.
But for me, that's what I'm looking for to tell me where really crypto is headed, those big market makers. So that's as political as I'll get with that.
Good. And Talisha, if you want to share the article, Talisha found the article for you that talked about 40% of houses are sold to cash buyers.
Put it in.
So I don't know if you wanted to pull that up and kind of talk through it.
Yeah, give me a second. So let's see here.
I think the article is interesting and very timely. So I got last week, you get a lot of calls, a lot of spam calls, but I got a couple of calls. And because I was expecting a call from an unknown number, I answered more calls last week than typically. Typically, I don't answer numbers that are not already stored in my phone. But 3 of those calls last week were people asking to buy my house.
I'm not surprised. Do you want to know why that happens? I did a business plan years ago for a gentleman, white gentleman. And he owned a very successful wholesaling business. And he told me that we target Black people. He told me that straight up as I was writing his business plan. We target Black people. A lot of us will have equity in our homes, but we'll be cash poor. Or, we're easy targets, or we have inherited houses and we don't want to keep them. We don't want to fix them up, and that could be for a lot of different reasons. I'm not chastising anybody or blaming anybody, but there's a targeted effort for these investors to contact us more than other communities.
So I actually took Sister Shanika does, and we had Sister Shanika here as well, and she does wholesaling. And I took a couple of her courses. And what's interesting is, so I knew exactly why he was calling, right? Now, obviously, I didn't engage once he said what he was, calling to do. I don't engage solicitors, so I did what I normally do with them. Which I won't tell you.
Did you cuss them out?
No. I'm a very nice person. No. No. It wasn't a nice call for him, but I did not use any curse words. No. No. But I thought it was interesting because the house next door to me is for sale. And we live in a neighborhood where when I bought this house in 2015, it was a house. It was actually, I bought a house in a poor white neighborhood because I knew it was going to be gentrified, and I wanted to benefit from that. And so we're at the stage where that's happening, right? So I remember I was sitting out on my deck one day and a real estate agent walked by and she was like, "Hey, you want to sell your house?" I was like, "Lady, no." So I'm used to that in this neighborhood. But what was interesting, with what you just said was, I don't remember the systems that, like Sister Shanika taught us, I don't remember them disclosing race.
So I will tell you the way that he said it to me specifically. He said that because he was going to do some television advertising, and he said we advertised during Judge Judy and a couple of the other judge shows like Mathis and Joe Brown, and it was specifically things that Black people watch.
Got you.
Over index with watching. And he said a couple of other things. It wasn't, racism or anything like that. He's just like, I'm a businessman, and when I target this community here, that's who I'm able to do business with. So
yeah, very interesting. Well, I'm sure if you saw my name listed somewhere, that gives it away, right? I don't have a Caucasian sounding name. So I'm not surprised if it was targeting because of the zip code and race, because again, this zip code is doing some really amazing things.
Yeah. And it could just be that they think you have a whole bunch of equity and they can get a deal if you are desperate enough. So it's not always race. Sometimes it's just a gentrifying neighborhood. And yeah,
I think the key here is to know your worth, right? And not be desperate, because you're right. If we can talk through the article, but all cash buyers, I agree 100% with you, Cheree. That means I'm not getting the most I can get out of this deal. I mean, that's what it means in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Is I'm getting it fast, right? I don't have to do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We don't have to get any approvals from the bank, but I am definitely getting much less than what I should be if I went the traditional route of selling this house.
Yes, especially because there are other articles that fewer investors are buying right now. That there was a huge run where a lot of institutional investors were buying single family homes, and that has lessened right now as well. So this is the article here. It says, while more Black Americans made concessions to sell homes, nearly 40% sold to an all cash buyer. And I won't read it all, but it's basically the percentage was higher than 90% of sellers who made concessions overall. Fresh data shows how home sellers in 2021 and 2022 adjusted their priorities between low housing stock and home demand reaching new highs. They're saying here nearly 40% of Blacks sold to an all cash buyer. That was 33% higher than all sellers surveyed. Sellers typically prefer all cash deals because they speed up closing. 37% of Blacks sold on the buyer's timeline versus 31% of all respondents, and 36% of Blacks made repairs versus 32% of all sellers. When I look at that, the making repairs, that means that there's more money coming out of our pocket just to sell the house. Some of us sometimes will have delayed repairs that we're doing. So we're getting less money, overall at the table at sale. However, Black Americans, 34%, had to make concessions or contingencies with the buyer, less than 36% for all sellers. Additionally, 31% of Blacks sold for less than expected, under 36% for respondents entirely. And then it says here that the author said that 21% of Black Americans reported they sold to move to their dream home or a home that better suited their needs. In contrast, respondents overall indicated they acted because it was a good time to sell. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But because they sold in that way, they're not, they don't have as much money to go towards this dream home.
Yes.
Going into the next deal, a little upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's saying here, this is interesting. Black Americans, 94% had regrets about the selling process, slightly higher than all respondents.
Interesting.
Some 29% of Blacks said they didn't sell for enough money versus 20% of everyone else. So, yeah. Again, this is an interesting article. I think this is going to be a trend, at least for the next year to 2 years. So, if you all want to get into wholesaling, brings us to a good point. If you want to get into wholesaling or anything like that, we actually have a report here, the10kproject.com/freedom. And it is a list of resources to help you get financially free in 5 years or less. One of the resources is with regards to getting into wholesaling. There's also information in there with regards to different types of investments that you're able to do. One of the big things we assembled was this whole philosophy of how you can start buying cash flow, as well as how you can increase your income so that you can get into the investment, into investments, period. So if you want to capture a copy of it, the10kproject.com/freedom. In order to, get your copy of that, it is free. You just, fill in your information here and it'll send you the resource list.
I wanted to go back to something Jeffrey said. Jeffrey said it's actually deeper than that when we were talking earlier. Jeffrey, can you elaborate on?
Jeffrey, if you want to just talk, we don't have to have you on camera, but if you want to just talk, then put it in the chat and I will just put you on the audio.
Awesome.
You can let me know. We have a couple of other people here. Jessica in YouTube is saying snakes. Jessica is saying for Tawana the same. If you're not saved in my phone, then no, I'm not answering your call. That's what Jessica is saying. Vivian is saying their interest is money. Look, everybody's interest is money. Yeah.
Mine too. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Mine too.
Beulah's saying my husband did that. Now they wish they had not sold. We inherited my family home. Oh, we have kept the house for us to have a place to visit. Well, I'm glad you kept your family home. One of the things I just encourage you, when you get property, hold on to it. And we need to start reaching out to other Black people. And if they need to sell their home, let them at least sell it to one of us so that it could stay in Black America. So I don't see Jeffrey saying anything here, so maybe he's busy.
Maybe he'll come back.
Calvin is saying it happened to me as well with the calls. Look, if you have equity, they will target you definitely. So did you want to talk about anything else, Tawana? I had mentioned a whole lot of stories.
You did. You mentioned a whole laundry list. The other thing you talked about that I can remember is you talked about the tech companies. In fact, many of them are struggling right now. And one of the things that I thought about the other day was, when we kind of talk about investing and how to build this portfolio, one of the things I think we need to really talk to the community about is how to recession proof that portfolio, so to speak, right? And to be diversified in a way that you don't want to necessarily get rid of all of your tech stuff, but you definitely don't want that to be all you're acquiring right now, because there are some troubles there. But we have to also remember, go back to Brandon the futurist, right? When he came, he told us Black tech, right? But Black tech was something he told us to really think about, heavily think about. And so there's a balance to all of this. And you hear one thing, When you turn to one channel in the media, then you turn to another channel, you hear something completely different. So we definitely have to, do our homework. Don't listen to one source for anything, right? And really think about diversifying, because that's the way, in my opinion, again, not financial advice, entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. But my thought is that diversifying is a way to recession-proof the portfolio. So really think about doing that for yourselves as well.
Yeah,
Lisa
so
said,
I'm going
I'm going to read what
to,
Lisa said. Lisa said, yes, it is terrible in Cleveland. A lot of Black families have sold out the neighborhoods to white investors. I'm trying to think of something to do. Wow.
if you're able to contact the remaining people who actually own their homes that may want to sell, and then you're able to find, there are Black people with money, believe it or not, right? And you're able to put that together, you would be able to make a wholesale commission, a little fee for that. And again, it could at least stay within Black hands. Another thing is that there are a lot of people who don't want to leave their home, but they feel like they can't, keep up with the payments, or sometimes there are banks. One of my neighbors, actually, where I used to live, the bank, really wanted his house because it had so much equity under him, and he didn't reach out for professional support in time. So, they use their tricks in order to get him out of his house. So you could also learn how to be an advocate for people. If I don't know if you took the class with Miss Beverly, but she, within grants.gov, there are grants that enable you to be a fair housing advocate for people, and they'll give you grant money for that. So if you go to grants.gov, you can look for that. If you're in the class with Miss Beverly, we went through like a lot of information with regards to how to apply for those grants. So, and then you were going to talk about the tech layoffs as well. So,
yeah. So, I've heard, again, in the media, I've heard about the tech industry and how it's taking a hit right now. I don't know that I know enough about what that really means. And is it happening across the board? I mean, I know what's happening at Amazon and, places like that, but what's happening with the smaller tech companies? Because the one thing I want to be careful not to do, right, is because your Google and your Amazon and all of these places might be having some layoff. They might be right sizing, right, their business, which also tends to happen at the end of the year because the books have to look a certain way. So I want to be careful not to make this blanket statement that all tech is at risk, right? I don't
it's
believe
not
that's
at risk.
True, but
No.
we keep hearing about it, in the way that the media kind of frames it makes you think that all tech is at risk, and I just don't believe that to be factual.
No, it's not actually. So if you actually read beyond the headlines, all of them are saying that there are certain divisions that are being let go because that is no longer a profitable division. So for example, Amazon let go of everybody that was working on their Alexa. And it's because it's been a money pit. So they've decided to move, their focus onto more profitable aspects of their business. All of the big companies that I'm looking at are trying to do that as well. So there was a podcast that I listened to, and they said that these companies, big and small, are letting go of people that are working on projects or products that aren't profitable. And then they're also working on, letting go of like unproductive teams. And it was a third thing. I wish I could remember it. But I will say, I saw an article that said that employers now, especially in a lot of these tech companies, and if I find it, I'll pull it up. They are starting to reduce the number of degrees that are needed in order for you to get an interview. So there was a time in a lot of these tech companies where you needed to have a bachelor's degree. Now, for entry-level positions, a lot of them are starting to say if you have certain certifications, you get to come in for the interview because they're doing more skill-based hiring than degree-based hiring. And I wish I were 18 years old because I would not have a student loan. Okay. But that's a very important thing as well. And one of the things that I'm reading and continuously reading is that the economy is moving to a skill-based economy. There are going to be more freelancers in the next 10 years working for big companies that people are able to come in, do a big project for that company and leave and move, to different companies as well. So it's more important for all of us in especially the W-2 workspace or the freelance workspace to focus on skills more than degrees and things like that, unless obviously you're going to be a doctor or an engineer or something that requires a degree.
Yeah, makes sense.
Dimitri is saying done. Good, perfect. So I see you have a lot of comments in here as well. Vivian is saying these investors are very large, e.g. BlackRock disguised as small real estate firms. Many made up real estate firm names. They're buying many properties. That is true that BlackRock, I think BlackRock is buying like $1 billion. It's one of those super big companies. No, they're not buying. Yeah, they're buying $1 billion worth of properties, single family homes. So Felicia saying tech layoffs were a result of 2020 blitz. Oh, she's right about that. The return to baseline numbers gives way to to garner tech resources for startups and small businesses. Will Ms. Beverly be back? We are working on that internally. So Sharnetta saying Chase is also planning to purchase $1 million worth of single family homes. It's probably going to be $1 billion, Sharnetta. Lisa saying, no, I have not taken the course, but I was thinking about taking the course, but I do not want to be a landlord. So the wholesaling is probably a great way for you to go. I don't want to be a landlord either, so I completely get it, but there are other ways for you to make money through real estate. The one thing that I will say to anybody and everybody is there's active income and passive income. Passive income is when you make money when you sleep. I'm also looking at one day I might be 90, 95 years old, and I may not have the capacity to work. And I want to have money coming in no matter what. So one of the things I want to suggest to you, Lisa, is if you don't want to be a landlord, perfectly fine, but try to figure out a way that you're going to still be able to pay your bills, either through cash flow or through having enough in savings that as you take your draw when you're 80, 85, 90, 95 years old, that you're going to be able to outlast your money. Sorry, your money is going to be able to outlast you.
The other thing, Lisa, is when you say you don't want to be a landlord, what does that mean? You don't want to actively handle the day-to-day responsibilities of a landlord, because you can hire a property manager for that, right? So be sure that you're not limiting yourself without taking into consideration that there could be other options to mitigate some of those risks that you think a landlord may have. Because I don't want to necessarily be a landlord, right? I don't want people calling me in the middle of the night because the sink is clogged up, right? I don't mind being the landlord. I just don't want that call. I don't even mind paying for the person who's coming to fix the sink that's clogged up in the middle of the night. I just don't want you calling me for it. So, just make sure you understand the limitations and don't discount it all, because it could be, you could be, having this property, having tenants, and for you, it is just a cash exchange, right? It's a financial exchange because someone else you're paying to do the rest of that, frustrating work.
Yeah, so I was looking for that article. I can't find it right now. I'm so sorry, everybody. Jen is saying that's interesting. I consider hiring and firing as an indicator of stock, but you're right, projects and products get killed off often. Yeah, especially again with the Amazon one, because I read like the whole article and that was their whole thing. I know it's not public anymore, but Twitter, that's another, big thing is he had this huge payroll and, he had a novel way of doing it, but he was trying to get three-quarters of the people to self-select to, let themselves go, right?
Done and
These,
done.
yeah. So these companies are trying to figure out ways to, especially in this economy. One of the big things, there are a lot of what's called activist investors that are buying up enough of the shares in order to really like make a noise, right, in the company. And a lot of them want to let a lot of them want these big companies to let go of these pet projects that they have that's sucking money out and only focus on the projects that are making like profits. Here's the interesting thing though, is that that's a great opportunity for startups because what happens is over time, I believe over time, Facebook is going to buy some company that really rocks at building a metaverse, right? And bring it in. A lot of these large companies, they don't get larger by inventing things like they've been trying to do. They let small companies invent the things and they go and purchase those smaller companies once those companies have enough traction, and they let the small companies actually get the bumps and the bruises of building new things. So thus the 10K project. You can invest in these super great companies on the ground floor. So Jen is also saying, yes, lots of fast track certs. Yeah, there are some certifications you can get in, a couple of weeks, 30 days, 90 days, and be able to get into new jobs. I personally think because their turnover is crazy and they're running out of candidates, particularly Amazon. Yeah. And there are a lot of small companies as well that are hiring too. So I encourage elders in
I was going to say,
Charlotte to
Dimitri
keep.
has a question after you read Miss
Oh,
Vivian's
okay.
comment.
I encourage elders in Charlotte to keep their homes. There is an organization in Charlotte called Quote for the Struggle. A young attorney of African descent helps the elders fix up their home. They recently had my friend's home renovated, new roof, floors done, the whole house painted. They added a new refrigerator, stove, and more. Fantastic.
Nice.
Um, and Charnette is saying, yes, I meant 1 billion worth of homes. Yeah, those guys move in pretty big categories. Dimitri is saying here, you mentioned getting a sales commission to connect wholesaler sellers with home sellers. How? Okay, not exactly. I was mentioning that wholesalers may want to, they're like the in-between between people who are selling a home and investors. And there are Black investors out there that have money, that have access to money, things like that. So you can be a wholesaler and you can connect those two people. It's whole industry on how to
And
do
if you're
that.
interested in being a wholesaler, we have in our Knowledge Center an interview we did with Sister Shanika.
Mhm.
We'll probably try to get her back. She's super busy these days, but we'll try to get her back in 2023 also, because wholesaling is still an amazing way to build wealth. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of legwork, but it's an amazing way to build wealth.
Yeah. Tammy is saying, and thank you, Talisha, for putting in the article about the 1 billion in rental homes. Yeah, look, they're looking for cash flow. These companies have learned that just going for appreciation of assets is not a smart thing to do. So they're looking for income to increase their income. They're looking for cash flow and they're looking for appreciation in order to build up their balance sheets and their wealth long term as companies. So we could do that within our family businesses as well in our families. So
Yeah, Tammy also said that she's got a girlfriend that has 2 lots of land in Virginia. Are there any options for her to sell to someone in our community? I would say probably, right? I
Probably.
mean, I would imagine there are people in this community that are looking to buy land. What I would recommend is Tammy in the Facebook group. If you want to put some details, we'll make your post live, and see if you want to either connect your friend or add her to the Facebook group. But I think that's something that absolutely we can kind of help you. I don't want to say solicit because we don't allow that, but to get the word out that there is some available land in Virginia. And then, obviously be careful, right? Tell your friend to be careful, right? Because, we are a virtual community. And while many of us may know each other and have come to know each other from these lives, there are many people in this community that we do not know personally. And so we want to always be safe, physically safe and financially safe.
Okay. Beulah is saying here, my husband's family sold to a developer in Costa Rica. He came in and tore down his grandmother's house. They took the money and it's already gone.
Wow.
They have property on Fort Campbell Boulevard. They are the only Black owning property on the boulevard. I am attempting to get a small business loan to take the property. It has a restaurant, hair salon, and insurance business. I'm trying to get them to take it off the market until I get all my ducks in a row. So is that your husband's family that you're trying to?
Or is that two different
sell it?
businesses? Yeah, is that two different businesses, Beulah? And Beulah, did you take the grant course? Like my brain immediately went to saving this kind of property in the community based on what we learned from Miss Beverly. This is prime for a grant. So if you didn't take the course live, it is out there in the Knowledge Center for purchase. That may be something you want to look into, because you just named all of those businesses that are part of this property. If a community, based on what we learned, right, for those of us who were in Miss Beverly's course, if a community lost all of those businesses, a small community, it could be at jeopardy. Like that, that could cause an issue for the people living in the community to be without these types of this many businesses of these types, and so could be prime for a grant.
Yeah.
So maybe a loan
consider that.
Not where you want to go, right? Grant is a lot better than a loan in my book.
Jenna's saying that Zuckerberg won't throw in the towel with the metaverse. I agree with you. He's not going to throw in the towel, but I don't know if they're going to be able to build what he wants to build internally. I foresee, because he spent $160 billion or some crazy amount of money thus far. I foresee them. There are smaller companies out there that are building metaverses, and I foresee him buying one. Tammy is saying metaverse will be owned by On Passive. They just went public on Sunday at the World Cup. Well, there are different metaverses that are out there. It's not just one metaverse. So, yeah, Talisha just said that. So, Beulah saying Amazon has a new distribution center. They have not been able to open because they cannot get enough people to run the facility.
Well, they could have relocated those 10,000 they just let go if they wanted this facility to be open.
Yeah. I have things I want to say about that, but I won't get political.
Be nice.
And Joseph is saying, where in Virginia? Tammy, where in Virginia, if you didn't already put it in here? Calvin is saying, just curious if anyone knows of anybody that has good experience with investing at a young age with whole life insurance with cash value to help supplement retirement. I know premiums are typically higher. I know off topic, but just thinking about future planning. So that is a great question for Freeman Capital.
And also we had, oh goodness, I can't remember her name. On one of our member Mondays, we had a member. I see her face. I cannot think of her name, but she sells insurance and has been in the insurance business for years and years and years.
I think it's in the Knowledge Center.
That session is definitely in the Knowledge Center. She was one who talked about Cheree. She was buying the block in Was she buying a block somewhere in Maryland? In addition to insurance, she was buying real estate. She was, it's going to come to me. It's going to come to me, but it's definitely the Sessions in the Knowledge Center. I just can't remember, but she sells insurance because she even talked about during COVID, living off of some of the cash value from her life insurance. Cannot remember her name, darn it. But it's definitely, I wonder if you type life insurance in knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I was looking to do. I have to get in through my account. In the meantime,
today we had an author on as well. I'm gonna tell you what session it is.
Okay,
yeah, I bought the author's book.
You're able to find it, because I don't know, all of a sudden now my system won't open up for the Knowledge Center. Tammy is saying near Langley, Virginia. Oh, that's a good location, Tammy. So I may know some people who may be able to help with that in Northern Virginia. So let's see here. Langley for sure, about 1.5 acres. Yeah. Beulah's saying that Amazon Center is in Knoxville, Tennessee. And yeah, was that the lady who had the female trucking company? No, the female trucking company was Kendra Miriam. No, there was a specific woman that we interviewed that specifically talked about how to make money through your life insurance policy.
This is not the lady, but it was the session where this lady came also. So this book was, the lady was Timberland Langen. She was on the same day as the life insurance lady. So I think if we put Timberland's name in Knowledge Center, you may get the session at least.
Okay. Well, I can't do that now, but yeah, I remember that session. So and we have a couple of other people in YouTube. So everybody in YouTube, please like the video and share the stream so that the YouTube algorithm can bless us. And what I wanted to do was just share a couple of things with you with regards to, just kind of level setting with things that we have within the 10K project. And of course, for some reason, all of a sudden now, I can't get into the Knowledge Center.
Let me try to get in also. And Charity. So I love the dialogue in the chat, because a lot of what you guys are asking for, we actually have in the Knowledge Center. And so now's a perfect time to talk about becoming a 10K member, right? So if you go to the10kproject.com, become a member. Right now, we've got a special going on. Our special is
here it is on the screen.
Wonderful. So we're giving $200 off of the annual membership, which would make annual membership just $100 a year, using the holiday code holiday membership. And what you get with membership, obviously, is access to all of our exclusive member content, but you also get access to the Knowledge Center, which has all of the past content. And so, Charity, you just asked about Airbnbs. We actually had a session on Airbnbs already. We've had a session on the life insurance stuff. I mean, we've pretty much talked about all of the things at some point in time over the last couple of years. And this content has great shelf life. The kind of topics that we talk about from a wealth building standpoint, they're tried and true. They don't go away, right? They don't stop being a good opportunity overnight. And so things like Airbnb, even though we're hearing some stories about Airbnbs taking a decline, we also know that there's still plenty of people who are being profitable or still receiving profits from it. But membership at the 10K Project is only $100 for the year. This is our holiday special, and so it won't be out there forever. So if you're interested, now's the time to join us. Also, we've got some questions that were about financial advising. We've got a relationship with an amazing financial advising firm, Freeman Capital, Black owned, and we've put their special or their session on special as well. So Holiday Wealth will get you $297 off of the financial planning session. It's 6 months, unlimited touch points, and it truly is the ability for you to get a wealth plan, a budget. Everyone who has gone through the Freeman Capital program have absolutely loved it. They've definitely come out with a better and greater understanding of their financial situation, and Freeman Capital has been able to put them or help them get, I won't say put them because it really is up to you, right? Been able to help them get to a point in their financial life where they can absolutely see freedom, and they're on the road to financial freedom. So we are so appreciative of the work that Freeman Capital is doing with our members. And then we also talked about the grant masterclass that's out there. Holiday Grant will get you $50 off of that. We actually had the last session last Wednesday. So all 6 sessions are out there for your view. We even have some of the chats out there so you can kind of see how the dialogue went during the sessions. Ms. Beverly did an amazing job showing us how to find grants, telling us, all the things we needed to know in order to submit successful applications. It was really one of the best, I think, courses that I've been through from an information standpoint. She gave us a lot of information. I have so many notes. I have to actually go back and reorganize things because she gave so much information that now I feel like I'm prepared, but I've got to get organized and come up with my strategy. So that's the step I'm at, is my strategic step on how I want to secure these grants, which ones I want to go after, and really think about my business model as well. So if you're interested in obtaining grants, this grant masterclass, I believe, was very beneficial. If anyone else in the participants list went to the master class, please put your comments in the chat as well for anyone who's interested, and also anyone who's taken the Freeman Capital wealth program. Please also share that so that anyone interested can hear your review. But here are the holiday specials. More than likely, they will be through all of the holidays. We decided, instead of just having a Black Friday or a Cyber Monday, we decided to make them holiday specials so that they'll go through all of the holidays. And so, we really would love for you to join the community. We are absolutely excited about what the new year is going to hold for all of us. And so, please consider joining us. Now's the best time to join us because they're discounts, right? Once the discounts are gone, right, then it'll probably be this time next year before we have another sale. So you don't want to wait for that. So if you're interested in joining, if you've been interested in joining, now's the time with the coupon codes. Okay. Very good.
Everybody, also starting on Wednesday, we are having our next masterclass. It's all about buying, rehabbing, and renting student housing. So a lot of kids are still going to college. They're going to pursue higher education. We have 4 sessions that are going to go from now through December 21st. The first session is how to select a property. So we're going to talk about locations. We're going to talk about, the property selection process. And we have 2 experts that are coming to talk with us about that. The second session is all about the do's and don'ts of construction. So one thing that was talked about when Michael, who originally came and introduced this idea to us, he said that he actually purchases properties where he's able to add a bedroom or 2 within the home. So that way he can increase the amount of revenue that's coming from the property. So we have a couple of general contractors coming to talk about that, how to actually work with your general contractor and things like that. Session number 3 is all about how to secure that funding. I know that that's very important for people. And then session 4 is all about renting rooms and cashing checks. So how do you actually go about not just renting to the crazy freshman who's going to tear up the property and be all over the place, but being smart about who you're renting to and how to actually set things up seamlessly so that you are able to maximize your income. So the registration is still open for the next day or so. I'm going to stop my screen here and actually get you the instructions for you to sign up. You need to be a 10K Project member in order to participate in this session. But Tawana, if you'll say something, let me type this in really quickly.
Okay. Just looking at some of the messages here. Miss Vivian said the holiday membership could be a great holiday gift. You're absolutely right, Miss Vivian. Thank you for that. And then Anita says that the master class with Miss Beverly was very informative. She says she's glad she took the course. Dr. Virginia said, yes, I learned so much from Miss Beverly. And Talisha said, I thoroughly benefited from my personalized wealth plan with Freeman Capital. Ms. Vivian also said the grant master class with Beverly Burgess was a wealth of knowledge. I agree. Calvin says, was this session about life insurance? I checked the Knowledge Center and was only able to access video on YouTube. I'm a 10K Project member. All of our sessions should be put in the Knowledge Center, both personal, private and public ones. So it should be in both places, Calvin. Yeah, it should be in both places. Let's talk a little bit about the gift giving. Obviously, 10K membership is a good gift for your family members or your loved ones. Also, the gift of equity. So we do something here for those of you who might be joining us for the first time called Bet on Black Pitches, where every Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we bring a Black founder to the community, one who is raising money via equity crowdfunding, and they pitch to this community to potentially be added to our individual portfolios. We invest in them individually if we choose to. More than anything else, we share their campaign with our loved ones and friends because we know the more eyes that see the Black founders campaign and what they're doing, the potential they have to raise the capital that they're looking for. And we do this via equity crowdfunding because we believe ownership is the key to future successes. And so unfortunately, tomorrow's Bet on Black founder is ill. And he called and said that he would unfortunately not be able to join us on tomorrow because he is sick. And so we rescheduled him for the 13th of December. So tomorrow there won't be a Bet on Black session, unfortunately, because it just wasn't enough time to find a replacement. And with the holidays, moving someone up and keep moving people up just would have, at some point that would have caused an issue as well. So it was just easier to cancel for tomorrow. But the Bet on Black pitches are all in our newsletter, the replays of them in the Knowledge Center. So for those of you who are members and you haven't caught up with some in a while, tomorrow will be a great time to kind of watch a couple of them, maybe watch the last 2 or 3, put it on 2 times replay and watch what they're doing and be able to support them if you're interested, because those campaigns are still active. And for anyone who is not yet a member, but thinking about joining, those replays are sent out in our newsletters. We have a newsletter every Monday and Thursday that goes out, and we put the replays of the pitches that are still active campaigns in that newsletter to make it easy for you to access them and potentially watch them and support the founders. The Bet on Black pitches, they're definitely something that the community has grown to love and show up for. If you can come live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time, please do. There's something magical. The more of us that attend a session, I think it fuels the founder. They get excited. And we learn so much from them, not just about their project, but also about the industry that they represent. So I always walk away from these sessions, not just thinking, oh, that would fit nicely in my portfolio, but just being amazed at how innovative and strategic and intelligent the founders are that come through the 10K project. I mean, they are solving real problems. And if they get the money that they need, right? If they get it, it could be the difference between success or failure, right? It could be the difference between them being a household name and us never, ever hearing about them, only for a company to come behind them that does have money that's going to do the same exact thing, not even as good. And so that's a story we've heard way too many times. And so, as a community of investors, we are here first and foremost to build wealth and support the Black founder. And with the Bet on Black pitches, we get to potentially do both at the same time. So we're super excited about that. Ms. Beulah, yes, we got the link you sent us for Liquid Energy. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I will do that this week, my dear, now that the holidays are over.
Martina has a question for you, Tawana, saying here, I was anxious to be a part of the 10K project with Miss Beverly. If we purchase a grant masterclass but have questions, are we able to ask her?
So we're going to have with Miss Beverly, she's going to come in and do, initially we thought we would have her do kind of, ask me anything sessions where that could kind of be one-on-one. And then we said, that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of questions she's going to get. So she's going to come once a month, right? And we're going to do the Ask Me Anything session as a class, or anyone who buys the course after the fact will all come and do these once a month Ask Me Anything sessions where she'll be able to give us the answers to the questions that we have. And we'll do that, maybe that session may be another 2-hour session, because I would imagine there'll be a lot of questions for her. We're going to do the first one, Cheree. Do we already have that scheduled?
No, but it'll be in January sometime.
Yeah. So the thought was we would need time, we kind of left for those of us who took the master class, we left with homework, right? Like I talked about, my job is to figure out my strategy. And many of us are at that stage. And some of us are already at the research stage. And some people may already be at the getting your business plan together stage. So we wanted to give some time for us to make some level of progress so that when we come to that first Ask Me Anything session, we actually have some real meaty questions to ask that could also help others in the class as well. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, we will be able to ask questions. Dimitri says, I can't believe how much free money grants that are available. Thank you, Ms. Beverly, for the Grant Masterclass. Yeah, again, guys, if grants if you're interested in any kind of grants, this class, she touched on even more than real estate. I mean, the focus was supposed to be real estate, but she gave us a commitment that I will say, if you were a general business owner, it was, we went 45 minutes one session where she went down the rabbit hole and was like, you can get this. And all I'm gonna say is good rabbit hole. It was a good rabbit hole.
A healthy 6 figures of grant opportunity just for general businesses. So
yeah. Definitely. With that information alone, if all she said was that, and then we disconnected and didn't do the rest of the 6 weeks, that would have been worth the money.
That would have been worth it. Yes. So she also told us, so I will share this one thing. She also told us that there are people who are lobbyists who make 20% on the amount of grants that they help organizations get. So I said to her, so you're telling me if I bring a $5 million grant to a real estate developer, I get 20%? And she said, yep. So and that wasn't the only thing that she said. There are ways for you to turn what Miss Beverly talked about into like a consulting business. You could become a grant writer. You could become a lobbyist. There were other opportunities that she talked about where you could get active income. And then you could also set it up where you could be the business owner, the real estate developer. So yeah, the grant masterclass,
good stuff.
Yeah. Tammy's saying, what? Look, yes.
It was good stuff. And there wasn't a lot of bells and whistles. I mean, it was good information, right? Miss Beverly sat in front of her green screen. There was no fancy blinging going on. Nobody was profiling or trying to perpetrate a fraud. She sat there and just spewed all the knowledge that she has. What is it, 40 years of knowledge in this space? And she gave us way more than we could have asked for. It was just this raw, beautiful, organic session that I absolutely loved. I love that there wasn't a lot of bells and whistles. Like, it was truly like sitting like at the foot of like grandma telling her life's work. I mean, it literally was, and in the best way possible. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
And there are other communities that would take the information Miss Beverly gave and get billions of dollars of grant money. You know, we hear all the time that Elon Musk and Tesla grant money, Jeff Bezos and the space company he has grant money. These companies are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars of grant money, you know, millions of dollars, even billions of dollars of grant money. And we're on the sideline. We don't know about it. Or if we do know about it, we're not acting on it. Now, the one thing Miss Beverly did say, and I'll give you all this teaser as well, is she said one of the best things to do is to specialize, right? Just like, you know, the doctor, the anesthesiologist makes more money than the general practitioner. So she, for example, is specializing in HUD grants, but she also showed us on, you know, through her different websites that there are a lot of different options out there. There's options for small businesses, there's options for tech businesses, there's options for different types of businesses and opportunities and things like that. She said that one of her people in her community specializes in medical devices or something like that. They only write grants for medical devices. You could, again, take the industry you're in, add her grant opportunities, you know, and she talks about different ways you can make money from this. Hang your shingle, you know, and I know a lot of people want to do some sort of freelancing for a second stream of income, as well as the ability to pay off debt or, you know, send your kid to college or buy a house or whatever. I just really encourage people we give so much information at the 10K Project. I really just want to encourage you to pick something. We brought people in here to talk about how to be a mobile notary and make 6 figures full-time, or, you know, a healthy $2,000 to $3,000 part-time per month, stamping documents. You can't get any easier than that. We've had people come on to talk about real estate. We've had people come on to talk about, oh gosh, you all can kind of drop it in the chat.
Everything.
All sorts of, you know, last week.
Repair.
Yes. Buying storage facilities.
Yep.
And
that session was crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, and we've also had people come in to talk about how to get your resume together and your LinkedIn together and, you know, and all of that. So the whole point is for you to figure out, take the month of December, figure out where you want to be in 2023, check in the Knowledge Center. If there's something that you can't find, let Tawana and I know. We'll let you know if it's already in there, or if not, if we're able to find an expert to come in 2023, you know, we'll try to do that as well, because we want this community to be of service to all of you. Yeah. So,
oh, Dr. Virginia said, myself and one other grant masterclass participant met on a Zoom call to strategize because we're in the same area. We're planning on working together. That is beautiful.
I love it.
That is absolutely beautiful. Wow.
So Valerie is saying, I ordered the grant masterclass, but didn't get the discount. Can you help me? Did you use the holiday grant discount or as the code, or what did you use? It's Holiday grant, it should be $50 off, Valerie.
Yeah. So the discount codes again are holiday membership, all lowercase one word. That's if you want the membership to be $200 off. Then we have holiday wealth. That's if you want $297 off of the wealth plan from Freeman Capital. And then holiday grant if you want $50 off of the real estate grant masterclass.
Yeah. And within the system, the Stripe system, it requires you to use the right code with the right product. So just want to make sure, Valerie, that you use the right code. I'm not seeing your response,
Yeah,
Valerie.
Valerie, can you let us know? Did you use the discount code? Is it not working? Or tell us what happened so we can figure out how to fix it for you.
And you can email me info@the10kproject.com.
Oh,
I didn't use the discount. Oh yeah, you have to use a discount code, my dear. So put that in. Miss Vivian is asking, how do we feel about having a youth entrepreneur session? I guess, so I would have two questions. The first is, would we get enough young people who children, grandchildren of our current members to actually come to something like that? And then the second is, a lot of entrepreneurship, it travels across age. So there may not be a lot of specific information for young people, except if the person is under 18 years old, you'll need a parent in order to help you set up, an LLC or anything like that. So Dimitri is saying, is there a session on how to set up small businesses like a big business in terms of 401k, IRA, health insurance, life insurance?
No,
we don't have anything specific we don't have anything specific like that. I know from running a business, and my mother also ran a business that had health insurance and things like that. There are brokers that are out there that can set those things up for you. There are a lot of different brokers that are out there.
And the brokers that are out there, they typically do it by the size of the company. So if you're small, mid-size, large, that's how their packages work. You could even Google, you could start with some of the big players like your Mercers and your Deloittes. And then they could even refer you to some of the smaller players in the space that they work with. Or you can try to Google benefit consultants, because all of those things kind of go up under the benefits or health and welfare umbrella.
Yeah. I feel like there's a National Association of Small Businesses. I used to know the acronym for them. I guess it's NASB, National Association of Small Businesses or something like that. And they have like a collection of 1 million small businesses or some big amount of small businesses. And the interesting thing with them is, if you go as a small business and work with a broker, you're still going to get, according to them, a slightly higher rate on your health insurance and things like that, because they're looking at you as a solopreneur, just, you have 5-10 people. But if you join this organization, then they pull you together with the other small business owners. And now all of a sudden it looks like you have 20,000, 30,000 people under the health insurance. So I think it's National Association of Small Businesses. But look for that as well. I would say call 3-4 different people, 5 different people, and definitely check people's rates out as well. So
I want to go back to Miss Vivian's youth entrepreneur session. So it's interesting because Alicia and I just had this conversation over the weekend. We absolutely want to, we talk about, at least we used to say it more often, we haven't said it in a while, that, like our Bet on Black pitches are family events, right? We really want you to bring the children in front of the computer, and the nieces and nephews and grandkids and all of that in front of the computer. And when we say children, we really mean anyone under 20, right? Bring them in front of the computer with you as you're watching some of these sessions. And so Talisha and I were just talking about this weekend, is we really need to start incorporating ways that young people are making money. we were talking specifically about the fact that her daughter is a gamer and how much money can be made with streaming for a gamer. And there are so many other wealth building strategies like that young people gravitate towards. And we really do want to be able to be a catalyst for some of that knowledge getting out to some of our family members who may be interested on the house. So definitely expect to see that in 2023. I think we have to. I think we've learned enough, right? Those of us who have been with 10K projects, definitely those of us who have been here from the beginning, we've learned enough that now it's time to pass on some of that knowledge. And so that next generation doesn't struggle as much as we have had to with coming up with a plan. And so 2023 is the perfect time to start doing that. So there'll be more to come on that in the coming year.
And then with your smaller children, don't forget that the government allows you to pay them $12,000 or $12,500 a year. I think it's one of those numbers. Definitely check with your CPA with regards to this. But if you set up your family LLC and you all are doing family investments or you have a family business, I always say to you, stop paying those kids. What do you call it? Allowance. Stop giving them an allowance. Instead, put them on payroll within the family business. They can do things as simple as filing. Some of you need help with your social media. Put those kids to work and get the tax benefits. So, but every CPA that we've interviewed, everyone that I've spoken with, every time I've said it, no one has said no to that. that is the rule. So we need to be like, trigger warning, the Trumps and the Clintons. Pick your poison. They're all doing it. But guess what? We have access to these tax rules as well. And we really should be putting them into effect in order to reduce our tax bills as well as build wealth within our families and within the community. So anything else? It's 7:15-ish, so we can.
Yeah, this was good. This was a good chit chat. We hope you enjoyed it. A lot of information, but we hope that for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we hope that you've heard enough here to make you join us again, and then maybe even join membership, but definitely join us again on a Monday session. Our Monday sessions are public sessions, and so we're grateful to have all new participants come and hang out with us. And to our members, I see so many of you out here with us this evening. Thank you guys always for joining us and supporting us and for being our biggest cheerleaders. So thank you guys very, very much for that. It's going to be an exciting year. 2023 will be an exciting year, and I cannot wait to share with you guys all the things that we're going to do. So.
Again, no bet on Black Pitch tomorrow. So take the time, though, to listen to a couple of the older ones and decide if you want to participate in those. Also, next Monday, Freeman Capital will be in the building to talk about how you can get your money right. So, and then Dr. Cheree and I are filming on next Tuesday. There's a lot of economic data coming out this week, a lot happening in the economy. I'm telling you now, those sessions are always fire. So she and I are probably going to talk for a bit, but just listen to it while you're on the treadmill or washing dishes or whatever, just to get tapped into what's happening.
There's a lot of dishes for as long as y'all go sometimes.
Look. You could do dishes, vacuum, and
get all the
economic news,
baseboards, all of it.
Yes. But it's always good, and you put it in always 1.5 times. So yeah. So look, So see, Sharnetta is saying we love Dr. Phillips.
Yep,
yes.
Agreed.
All righty then. So that is it for us, and we will see you all next week. Thank you so much.